Hello, I'm Doug, and this is the Taste and Sensibility channel. And today we're at wine tasting number 12, where I'm comparing two different wines, a red wine and a white wine that are both made from the same grapes by the same bodega in Argentina. So I just came across these bottles poking around in a local grocery store and noticed there was a Pinot Noir from Patagonia. Suggested to look into because of Wine Folly, Madeline Paquette's wonderful book, all about grapes and wine and regions and most things you need to know to get started. And she says Patagonia is a wonderful region to get a Pinot Noir from. But about 3 bottles away on a different shelf, I found this white wine called Blanco de Pinot Noir from the same place. Aniello, Bodega de Aniello. So I've had this one poured for about 30 minutes, and so I decanted it and let it air out, open up, and all that stuff. And then this one I just poured within the last 5 minutes. And I got both of these out with my Coravin system, but I discovered we have synthetic corks here that do not seal back up like natural cork does. So if you're looking in that overhead, you can see these little sewing pins, some sort of tapestry, textile sewing thing that's very stiff stainless steel. Plugs up the hole just the right size and keeps all the air out, oxygen out, and the wine in. So I might drink these a little bit faster than I normally would with a self-sealing cork, like natural cork usually is. But I'll drink these a little faster knowing that the holes let a little oxygen in. So I've got all the information from the bottles written down on my scoring tasting sheet to record what I'm doing. I've had one of these before. I took notes on it. And then the other one, I didn't take any notes. I just tasted it, got all distressed that the cork didn't seal back up, and forgot about it. But I'll take a few more notes today. So what I try to remember to do is start out with color. So I've got this paper with lines on it, and I'm just going to lay it down, and that is a very light straw. Almost towards platinum, but there's a bit of yellow there. Might be a lightest gold. Gold straw. It's one of those things on the yellow end of things. So that's not an unusual color for a white at all. But this kind of white's not mentioned in Wine Folly Magnum Edition. So I'll just go in on my own. Let's see. Nose is a little hint of lime. This is cold. It's about 50 degrees F right now. A little bit of lime and fruitiness. Something tart. Something like a white grape that's not quite ripe all the way. Or maybe a kiwi. Not a real sweet, juicy one, but one that's still a little hard and underripe. Something along those lines. There's a tartness to it that I can smell. Has a fairly normal white wine nose. What do I think? Nose is getting tired. Give it a little break. I've written down all the information from the bottles, and then I also took the temperature of both and the pH of both. Not the temperature matters for the red at ambient, but the pHs were 3.8 and 3.9. That's suggesting the white is a little more acidic than the red by a little bit, but you often don't taste those differences, or even in the right direction of true acidity. It's more an impression and a combination of lots of different factors. So let me try one more nose here. Oh yeah, here's a mineral, gravel, chalky, limestone, I don't know what. Something I get once in a while on some whites. That's about it. Not really anything else reminds me of food. So I'll just go ahead and start in. Oh wow, nicely acidic. Wow, almost structured. These were not expensive bottles, $15 and $16. From a nice little bodega in Argentina. I've got their name on the cork. They're sing corks that don't get along with my Coravin. And they've got interesting designs on the bottle. Oh, 06. I have no idea what that means for the Pinot Noir. It's a stylized, I don't know. I don't even know what the parts are. It's a stylized 006 with creatures or fish or I don't know what. So the wine is really fairly nice. It's refreshing, fruity. It's not got real strong lemon, lime tones. I'd say yes. An unripe white grape or a kiwi that's not quite ripe. It still has some tartness to it. Those are good notes for the flavor too. I'm not sure I get that minerality on the palate. It smelled like gravel or rocks or limestone, and I'm not sure I taste it. And the back of the bottle describes the wine and not some kind of marketing thing. This is just a bodega in Argentina that's worried about making wine. And what they put on the back, Bodega Aniello crafts small lot, character-driven wines in Manique, Upper Rio Negro Valley, in Patagonia, the southernmost growing region of Argentina. So it's the coolest region for growing grapes in Argentina, since it's further away from the equator, closer to the South Pole. This Pinot Noir has been produced following white winemaking techniques, fresh with strawberry and citric notes, good structure in mouth with long, lingering finish. Hadn't really thought about the finish and haven't read the notes before. So they say strawberry, citric, fresh. So I would agree with all those things, but I'm not sure about strawberry. Okay, maybe if it's one of those whiter, less ripe strawberries that we get in grocery stores, then I could see it. But overall, it's a bright tartness, and lime and lemon are the louder notes. And certainly could be the kiwi and white grape too. So I like it. It's a fairly muted fruitiness. And wow, it's nice and I'll enjoy the rest of it, but it's not a standout. I'm still getting used to the idea of wines. They're just grapes. It's a region, it's a climate, they grow. You do certain things to make sure that they grow okay. You do the grape growing and the winemaking the best you can and try to get out of the way, don't have any flaws, don't make any mistakes. And then you get what you get from that year's crop of wine. It's a vintage is a real thing. Whether that was a good year, a bad year, a so-so year. Here goes on the palate, the red 2019 vintage. This is 2022, so very recent. And this is a 2019, so they held it for a year or two before they released it, or it's just been sitting on the shelf for a couple of years. So the 2019 Pinot Noir from Aniello. How about a little color? How about a little nose? Let's not start drinking right away. And these Pinots tend to be a little lighter, a little paler, and it's a little garnety around the edges, and I guess deep ruby right in the middle, but it's pale. Pale for a red. I think I can confirm that's what I usually get on these Pinot Noirs from almost anywhere. Oh wow, a little bit more fruity on the nose. There's some kind of berry notes, strawberry, maybe the tartness of a cranberry, some kind of red fruit. and not a trace of lime or lemon on the nose. So that's just so weird. Contact with the skins a little more takes the wine characteristics in a little different direction. So this is an interesting nose. This would have stopped me in my tracks several times on other Pinot Noirs. This one's, and I had it before and didn't notice it like this. This is a good day. It's a full, rich fruitiness on the nose. It's not jumping out of the glass, but it's not as muted as this thing was on the nose or the palate. Okay. Very interesting. And I'm not sure how to describe it. It's not fruits I can mention, fruits I can name. Okay, let's taste. I would say strawberry is a good descriptor. Strawberry, maybe a little cranberry. There's a hint of a cranberry. It's not as tart as the nose hinted at. I'm looking for some sort of citric influence, not getting that. I can't say there's as much acidity here as there is over here. This tastes acidic, bright, fresh. This is not quite that bright and fresh, but it is mostly fruit flavors. I'll just cut that out. It's nicely rounded. You can tell there's a trace of tannins. They're kind of fuzzy on the sides of my cheeks, and but it is not one of those big punch of tannins that makes you really pucker up. This is just a touch of tannins, and it's really nice. This is a great combination. So I can sort of picture this being the base, and then you add a little more fruitiness or tannins or other effects from the skins, so it certainly gets color. And the tannins are definitely there. From the mid palate on, you get the tannins noticeably on the palate. So today I think I like the red a little more than the whites. I've been way more impressed with whites recently, and their range of flavors is the range of characteristics. Today I think this red is really nice. This is right behind it. It's very interesting, but the flavors on the red are not quite as muted. They're fruity. Could even be blackberry in this thing. Strawberry, that's not overly sweet at all. It's not overly acidic. It's not real tart. It's just fruity, but in a soft, rounded way. And then the tannins are soft and rounded. So I am liking this. This is good. It won't be any trouble at all to drink this a little faster than I normally would for a Coravin opened bottle. And when I get down halfway, I'll just pop the cork and drink it all. So I did not mark any of my, I didn't do any of my score sheets or anything, but this is a great experience. Let me go back just to check in the other direction. Didn't really explain why. I tasted the white first and the red second, but so all the tannins are over here. Lighter flavors and aromas are over on this side, usually. So, but let's go back the other direction after a little rinse. Oh, on the nose, there's a creaminess, a creamy note, a buttery note that I didn't notice before. Could be dairy related, or it could be some soft grain like a barley, something sweet and softer in character. Interesting. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, palate. Oh yeah, very soft, fresh, and bright from the acidity. Yeah, the fruitiness of it has shifted a little bit to something very light, like a yellow plum or a peach or an apricot. It's not sweet, but the fruitiness goes in that direction. Lighter yellow flavors. Not so much of the citrus. Not so much of the tartness of a kiwi. It's in there, but something a little more yellow. Peachy, apricot. Wow, that's jumping out now. Okay, so very interesting. I'm going to enjoy both of these wines. This is just the introduction. So I might go back and taste this one more time just to see if anything else is different. It's been poured about 50 minutes, so things keep changing in the glass. So if you like the videos that you've been seeing here, please give this one a thumbs up. Leave comments and questions down below. Share it with friends. Subscribe to the channel and click on that bell to get notified when the new videos pop out. So let's do one more rinse before I get assaulted by these really soft muted tannins. Let's go. It's kind of like a strawberry, blackberry, blueberry mixture. And the fruitiness, and then the acidity is mild, moderate, modest. It's in there. There's a tartness to it. There's more of a tartness than a sweetness, that's for sure. But it's fruity. And the tannins just kind of grow in slowly. You don't notice them popping up in the mid palate, and they just get louder and louder and louder, but they never get very loud. They grow from a whisper to a hum. And it's a pretty soft hum. So I'm liking both of these, and I'm finding more in them now that I'm taking my time and going more carefully than I got on my first bottles. So it pays to slow down, take your time, write down notes, and go through and consider it. And don't rush through things. Don't rush through a glass of wine in 10 minutes. See if you can make it take 20 or 30. And it will change along the way and give you different facets of that wine. So this has been real interesting today. And our wine verse today is from Deuteronomy 7. He will love you, bless you, and multiply you. He will also bless the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your ground, your grain, your wine, and your oil, the increase of your herds and the young of your flock. So I think that will wrap up today's finale for this little burst of wine videos. And we will move on to cheeses and one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer, and all sorts of other things out in the future. So come back for all those, and cheers. So nice and rounded and soft.